25 minutes before, wow, let me turn some of these things down. I got too many microphones turned on from the last show. 25 minutes before 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Thursday morning. Got a really interesting topic. I don't think I've ever spoken to a bail bondsman before. Is that even the way you say a bail bondsman? I think so, right?
Yes. I see the signs.
When you drive back past the jail, right? Yeah. And I guess we're fortunate that we never had to go to one, knock on wood, or knock on granite, or whatever we need. I've often thought, what is that like? I mean, for them, they have to pretty much gamble that the person that they're putting up money for is not going to run away. Mm-hmm. You know, and I mean, and you know, forgive me, Mr. and Mrs. Criminal out there, but you're not the most trustworthy people.
Yeah.
So it's like it's hard enough to get a loan for a car when you're an average person. Yeah. How do you get a loan when you just are accused of breaking the law?
Yeah.
And what is that like? Well, there are some who have risen to the top of their profession, just like there is in every profession. And we have him on the phone. He is Ira Judelson. He's one of New York's most prominent bail bondsmen, and he's written a book about it. You get to kind of follow him, you know, so to speak, through words, through the book. The book is called The Fixer. Any jail, any court, anytime.
Yes.
That's cool. I like saying that. The notorious life of a front-page bail bondsman. Ira Judelson is on the phone. Good morning, Ira. How you doing?
How you doing, Larry? How's everything?
Pretty good. Where are you?
I'm in New York.
I can hear it. I can. Oh, you make me homesick. I miss New York. Where are you in New York?
Right now, I'm actually headed to the Bronx, New York, the boogie down.
Oh, wow. Okay. So let me ask you something. Where did you set up? Where was your office?
I have 3 different offices. I have a Manhattan office, I have a Brooklyn office, and I have a Queens office. 3 different locations, all near the courthouse.
So you're not retired. You're still doing this.
Oh, I love what I do. The action is the juice. I enjoy what I do for a living. I enjoy both sides. I enjoy dealing with judges, DAs, defense attorneys, and dealing with my clients.
Wow. And I'm guessing you've had your share of known clients?
Yes, I've dealt with major celebrities in the bail business, people that have been in trouble and needed my services. I've also dealt with people on the everyday grind, the everyday working person that needs my service.
Really? How long have you been doing this?
Almost 17 years.
17 years. Wow. My dad was a New York City police officer. Of course, he retired before you got started, it sounds like. So I'm dating myself by telling you that. But anyway, I mean, it's kind of like, my dad used to tell me something. I want to get your 2 cents on this, and then let's talk about the book. But he would say back in the day, when there were prostitutes on the streets and there were people in the neighborhoods wanting the police to get rid of them, they put the girls in the paddy wagon, drive them around the corner, let them go.
Yeah.
He said it didn't make any sense to put them in jail because they'd be out in like 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's funny. Things have totally changed, obviously, since I want to say 9/11, where different types of arrests have been made and different types of police are all over the place. You see a lot more police now at Yankee Stadium, Shea Stadium, the tunnels. They've done a great job in protecting our world here. And as far as that goes, I guess that was before my time, but I did hear stories like that also.
Oh, really? And so now, does everybody who breaks the law and gets put into jail have an opportunity? Well, this is probably a stupid question. Well, okay, I'll ask it anyway, as stupid as it is. But they don't all have opportunities to be bonded out, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, different judges have set different types of bails, but obviously there's always a bail being set. A lot of times there's people that are released on their own recognizance, which is called an ROR. And then obviously if there is a bail set and a family cannot make it, that's where they call a bondsman. Okay. And that's where we come into place, and we come and we help these families out at the most vulnerable times of their lives, and they're scared and they don't know what they're doing, and they give a guy like me a call, and I come in and do what I can to make this process go as simply as possible.
So does it ever happen where a judge gives somebody who's been arrested an opportunity to bond out, and you decide, no, I'm not doing it? Does that ever happen?
Oh, Larry, all the time. I get 25, 30 phone calls a day. I might take 3, 4, 5 of them.
Okay.
I try to make sure I get as best collateral as possible, and I assess my risk and make sure that I'm dealing with someone I believe that is going to show back up in court. It's not about making a dollar for me. It's about making everybody happy. I want to make sure that the DAs feel comfortable that I'm doing my job, and judges feel comfortable I'm making sure that defendant's in court. And obviously, I want to give the defendant every opportunity to fight his case from the outside.
So you must be retained by Alec Baldwin then, because he's always in court.
I've seen Alec in the newspapers.
So if somebody is notorious like that, and I don't want anybody coming after me, but I'm going to use the word mafia. They tell me, no, don't use the word mafia. But if somebody like that,
I call it alleged.
Alleged, okay. But if somebody like that wants to be bailed out or bonded out, and help me out with that too, I'm not even sure what to say. But do you sometimes say, you know what, it's not risk my family's life, I'm going to go ahead with it? I mean, that would worry me if I was in your shoes, you know?
Well, listen, I deal with all different types of people in my industry, and everybody is innocent until proven guilty. And I give everybody the opportunity, what they need to get out and fight their case on the outside. I deal with all different types of people, and I never I'm not judge or jury. I do what's best for the family, for myself, for the court, to make sure that person, does the right thing. So, again, everybody writes and says things about people, and I don't believe what they write or what they say. I just basically assess the risk and see if it's a good risk.
Where's home for you? What do you actually call home?
I live up here in Westchester, New York.
Okay, so you're heading home right now.
No, I'm actually driving. I have another interview to do later on over at Sirius, and I'm actually driving into the city as we speak.
Oh, okay. So, how did it come to? How did you decide to write a book about this? I mean, obviously you've got an interesting life. 17 years. That's a lot of information. But what made you want to put it into a book?
Well, I was back in September of 2010. There was an article in the New York Times written about me and about bail bonds, and nobody really understood what bail bonds are. And in the nicest terms, I lend money to people to get out of jail.
Right.
So a gentleman from the Times says, "Hey, listen, I'm going to write an article. I'd love to do it about you." And I was a little nervous, a little scared. I said, "Listen, I'm not really interested." And he pursued it, and one thing led to another. We decided to, take a shot on this. And then before you knew it, everybody started coming after me, a lot of different talent agencies, CAA, William Morris, ICM, UTA. And they said, "Hey, listen, we could do a TV show with you. Well, this is a great idea." And I started entertaining that. And, then I started looking into some different things, and I said, listen, the book about bail bonds, the book about the fixer, what I do, I wear a lot of different hats. I'm a life coach, I'm a priest, I'm a rabbi, I'm an employment agency, I'm a social worker. Everybody thinks you do a bail bond, and then it stops. And not with me. I have great relationships with my defense attorneys, great relationships with judges, DAs, and more than anything, great relationship with my defendants. These are people that come to me at their scaredest times, and their world gets turned upside down, and I want to help them. I want to help them,
wow.
And I want and see if I could turn their lives around a little bit too,
wow.
And see if I could say, hey, you maybe you made a mistake, maybe you didn't make a mistake, but I'm here. I'm going to give you every opportunity. Wives, mothers, fathers, children, they come to me. And they walk in, they don't know where their checkbook is, they don't know where their deed is, they can't find their car title, they have to pick up their children at carpool, and here I am, and they're crying, and that's where I become a social worker, and then
wow.
I become a life coach, and then somebody will come into me, a street guy, and he say, "Hey, Ira, I did it, I had to survive on the street. I got to go lay down. I got to go do my time, but make sure, everything goes good. I got to set my family up." And I become a priest. I become a rabbi there. And that's what I do. And I love what I do. I enjoy the action. I enjoy the juice. And, I have a family of my own. I'm a married man with 3 children. And a lot of times I'll get cases where I'll be like, wow, maybe I should stay away from this one.
Yeah.
And, there's a little something in the book that talks about that. I basically I can't be judge and jury. I have to make a decision.
Right.
I do stay away from some cases. And when the word on the street is that Ira's staying away from a case, other bonds companies usually stay away from the same thing. And
oh, really?
we go from there. Yeah,
oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, I think I got a good reputation with my colleagues.
Well, that really has to break your heart, though, when you have to bond a child out of jail.
Yeah, of course, of course. You know, when you're dealing with a 15, 16-year-old child, sometimes 14, you wonder about the guidance they're getting at home. You wonder about what's actually happening out there, and you look at this young man and you say, hey, listen, is something going to be taught a lesson if he stays inside and dealing with some other bad kids a little older? And he gets physically hurt inside or abused mentally, physically. And, giving this kid the opportunity, he might have been in the wrong place at the wrong time. You talk to him.
Yeah. So is that just juveniles who've been adjudicated adults, or in the state of New York are all juveniles given an opportunity to bail out? In Florida, you can't bail out a juvenile. There's a different program.
No, you could bail out a juvenile here in the state of New York.
Okay.
There's always a bail set. And a lot of times the parents have to go to the facility to pick up the child. Sometimes, whoever the guardian has to go pick up the child. And, I bring every defendant into my office, and they sign a card, and it's almost like a probation card. And I talk to this young man. I say, listen, this where you want to go? Do you want to end up in state prison?
Right,
Is this
right.
where you want to end up for the rest of your life?
There you go. That's
sometimes
the life coach
it goes
part
through
of it.
their head. Yeah. Sometimes it goes right through them, and sometimes they listen. I've got a lot of beautiful letters over the years from a lot of my clients saying thank you.
Wow.
You really helped me. It means a lot.
You are the fixer. How far back did the name Fixer? When did that happen for you? When did people start calling you the Fixer?
Well, I mean, it came out a couple of years ago where, my wife would always say to me, you can't fix everybody's problem. You got to you just got to listen and hear, and you can't just fix everything that you see. And I kind of agreed with her, but then, people would come to me, neighbors would come to me where I live and say, Ira, listen, I got a situation. And it could be a street situation, it could be a legal situation. And the same thing happened with a lot of my people inside what I deal with, and I enjoy it. I'm a giver. I'm not a taker, and I enjoy giving back. I feel life has been good to me, and I want to give back a little bit. And if I can help, I want to help.
Your publicist is a guy we work with all the time, Sam Glazer, and when Sam called us about you, I had this instantly. I knew right away I wanted to speak to you for a couple of different reasons. But one of the reasons is because Robin and I speak to authors every day, several authors a day. We have never spoken to anybody with this book before. You have. It's very unusual for somebody to have a one of a kind. And
that's great, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted the book to come out. I wanted people to understand what the world of bail bonds was. And more than anything, I wanted to tell my story because, again, when I shed the light in what I do, people need to understand, that there is somebody out there that can help them and when their world gets shaken up. And I actually have an app coming out right now. It's called Jammed Up. Yeah, it's called JammedUp.com. It's a mobile app that'll be out moving in the next couple weeks. It's actually an online legal web service for any lawyers, criminal or civil, bail bondsmen, private investigators, armed guards, and any legal expert out there. It's a phenomenal tool. I suggest that any lawyers, bondsmen, private investigators, legal experts sign up. It's free. And it's like years ago when you saw a book out there, Dummies for people that didn't know computers.
Right.
This is for people that don't know what to do when their world gets shaken up, whether it be a parking ticket, whether it be a traffic violation, whether it be a landlord-tenant dispute. You need a bondsman. You need a private investigator. You need to even take a lie detector test. You can find anything on JammedUp.com.
Jammed Up? JAMMED?
JAMMED up.com.
Okay, JammedUp.com.
Yeah, it's great.
Let me just reintroduce you. Ira Judelson is our guest. Am I saying your name correctly?
That's correct.
Ira. The book is called The Fixer. He is in New York City right now as we speak, doing his job as a bail bondsman, and he's written about what he does, what he's been doing the last 17 years. He's called The Fixer. The book is called The Fixer, Any Jail, Any Court, Anytime. Could I ask you, if I conjure up a name, or not, you don't have to name anybody, but I mean, conjure up a client. Have you ever had a client who's a repeat client who makes you laugh? Yes. A guy who makes you laugh, or a lady? I mean, somebody who every single time, oh, there you are again. Every time you make me laugh. Do you have any of them?
Yes, I do. I actually do. I have a lot of repeat customers. And, I'm like McDonald's in a way with some of these customers. They come back all the time, and I'm open 24 hours. So they come in, and they're like, I'm like, are you kidding me? Yeah, I'm sorry, And I'm like, listen, all right, what is the bail now? Oh, it's $5,000. All right, well, let's get you out the door, no problem. And I'm not going to run, Ira. I'm like, I know that, but I don't want to see you in my office anymore.
Oh,
and then they laugh and they joke.
Oh,
I get a lot of repeat customers.
And what are they? I mean, it's probably across the board, but typically somebody who's a repeat like that, what are they doing? What's their crime?
Well, some people are involved in the pharmaceutical business. Some people. Some people are involved in going into stores and forgetting to pay when they come out, and so it's loss of memory. So there's a lot of those type of repeat customers.
Oh, that's too funny.
What did you do before you were a bail bondsman? Why did you set your sights on doing this?
Well, that's part of the book too, The Fixer. I was struggling. It's a down and out story, a rags to riches story. I was trying to find my way. I own nightclubs, I own bars, I own gyms. I tried to become a sports agent. I did everything from going to the Fulton Street Fish Market and bringing fish to bouncing in bars.
Wow.
I would do anything I possibly could to survive. I was depressed at a very young age. I didn't understand what depression meant because at that age nobody really talked about it. I would sleep until 3, 4 o'clock, then go to the gym. I was bitey and angry. I was living with my parents. So I tried anything and everything. I was a success story in the beginning. We did very well at bars and restaurants, but at one point, everything came crashing down. And, that's what the book's about, The Fixer, how I got started, how my uncle, a long-lost uncle in the business, got me into it, and we took it to a whole new level. And my insurance company, who's a phenomenal insurance company, backed me and took a chance on me. And when I had tough times in the beginning, stood by me. And we've taken it to a whole new level.
When your long lost uncle started to talk to you about this, you must have visualized what the clientele would look like. Does it look like what you envisioned at that time?
I got to be honest with you, no, because I am a street guy in a lot of ways. I grew up, I am college educated, but, I always grew up dealing with people on the street, so I never really understood what I was getting into. And in the beginning of my career, I made a lot of mistakes because I believed everything that people said walking in my door. It took a long time for me to vet a lot of these cases. And then you're dealing with different types of people. You're dealing with people that come from single families. You're dealing with people that have terrible, abuse growing up, and people that just make mistakes in their everyday job, and it's tough because you get into these people and you see what they're like, and you feel for them. Yet you have a business.
I don't know what your feelings are about doing a TV show like this, but I can see this being a hit. You would be the Anthony Bourdain of bail bondsmen.
Yeah.
Do you know who he is? Do you know who Anthony Bourdain is?
Yeah. Kitchen Confidential. He's great. I read some of his stuff.
But that would be you. The camera would follow you, and we would get to see you doing that.
I have been approached by some major people in the TV world over the last couple of years about doing a show, scripted and non-scripted, and I've been approached also about a movie, and I'm trying to weigh my options because I want to see what's best for me and my family, and I also want to make sure that it's portrayed in a great light, because what a bail bondsman does is you've seen shows such as Law and Order, CSI. Then you've gone and see some reality shows such as Cops and some other different shows. You've never seen it through the eyes of a bail bondsman.
No.
You've never seen it through the eyes where you walk into the courthouse and he, at one point in a time, becomes the most powerful person in that courthouse. Because remember, he's getting you out the door. And I remember dealing with the late Johnny Cochran before he passed away, and Johnny stopped practicing a lot after the OJ trial, and he started lending his name to different firms all over the country. And Johnny got me on the phone, enamored talking to him, and we had a three-way conversation with a gentleman in Rikers Island, and the guy was saying, Johnny, just tell him I'm good for it. Just tell him I'm good. I'm not going to run away. And Johnny said, hey, I might be the best lawyer around. I might be the greatest thing since sliced bread, but I'm not getting you out of jail. Only the bondsman's getting you out.
Oh, great!
and I remember that to the day. Yeah. And God rest his soul. It was a very, very bright man to talk to.
Are you ever afraid?
Great question. Am I ever afraid? The answer is you got to be stupid if you're not ever afraid. But I have a lot of allies in my industry. You got to remember, I try to call myself the Willy Wonka of the bail business because I'm the one that's going to help you get out. So when my kids get scared, if they see me on TV, or if my wife says, look at that case, I said, remember yourself. I'm the one that's getting them out. So I'm the one that they love at that point in time. And but there are times when I get phone calls from different people that try to tell me they're going to get out, and I don't take the call, or I don't take the bond, and they get mad because if it gets out there that Ira Judelson's not doing the bond, somebody thinks there might be something wrong with it. There might be a greater risk. So then those people call back, and they're a little angry when they're incarcerated. And I understand that. I respect that. But again, this is just a business decision.
So here's a question that has nothing to do with what you do, but I just know this. I can feel this. I'm like a psychic with this. If I went to New York, Robin went to New York last month.
Yeah.
Last month.
Had a
And
good
her
time.
son works in Manhattan. And so she and her husband went there. But if they met up with you and asked you to recommend the best pizza place in the city, I know that before I even finish my sentence, you know where it is.
I would have to say that. Yeah, I would have to say that's Patsy's up in Harlem is one of the best ones around.
Okay, I'm writing it down.
That's
That
funny.
way when I go next time.
Because I know you're not just about bail bonds. I know you know where the best pizza place is. All right, before we run out of time, let me let a listener chat with you. Ira Judelson, again, is our guest. His book is called The Fixer. Fascinating interview and even more fascinating book, I would say. Good morning. Thank you for waiting. You're on the air with Ira Judelson.
Yes, good morning, sir, and thank you for what you do. How are your services, your fees determined?
Our fees are state regulated, so it ranges anywhere between 10% down to 6%, depending on the bond.
Oh, wow, really? Okay. Well, thank you for the question. All right, let's make sure we get some of these books out. I have one that I can give away for free. It was sent to us by, by Sam, by the publicist. The Notorious Life of a Front Page Bail Bondsman, The Fixer. Let me give it away to somebody. Wow, look at the phones lighting up. Okay, let me give one away, and then Ira is going to tell us how to go buy it. Good morning. You're on the air. You got the book. Who's this?
Thank you so much. This is Mary. I'll take the book.
Okay, Mary. It'll be waiting for you.
Okay. See you later. Bye.
Thank you. Ira, we've had such a great time chatting with you. Before we run out of time, you already told us about the app at the jammedup.com. I'm not the, but just jammedup.com. How do we get the book? And do you have a website of your own?
I do have a website. It's Ira Judelson at AOL, and you can go on my website. And also, you could also find me at jammedup.com. There too, and you could find the book in any Barnes & Noble, any bookstore. You can get it online at Amazon.com. It's a great Father's Day gift. People are going to really enjoy it, and it's a great book. It's an easy read, and people will really like what they see in there. They'll see a lot of different stories. They'll hear about a lot of different stories, and they get it from a different set of eyes.
Wow, it really is great. Ira, thank you for taking time out of your day to chat with us about your book. How's it doing right now? I'm guessing this is a hit. If it's not already a hit, it will be.
Yeah.
I think it's a hit. Again, I don't really know how to track it, but I assume the people over at Simon & Schuster are tracking it. They
I'm sure
believed
they
in me. My writer, Dan Paisner, believed in me. And hopefully people that read it really enjoy it. And we'll take it from there.
All right, let me see if I can find it real quick. I can tell you what it's doing. Let's see. Right now, you are number 88. Number 88. That is awesome.
Wow.
88 in the biographies and organized crime category. That's
That's great.
That's pretty cool. How long ago did? And that's the actual book. That's not the Kindle. Let's see what the Kindle's doing. The Kindle might be.
It only came out yesterday. So
Wow.
It only came out yesterday?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Wow. It's number 61 in Kindle.
Oh, gosh.
61 in Kindle.
Wow.
That's
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
That's great news.
Congratulations.
Wow. Well, and that's in the organized crime category as well. All right, we've got to run, and you do too. Ira Judelson, thank you so much for being on the air with us today.
Guys, thank you very much. Go Gators.
Oh, go
Yes,
Gators.
go
There you
Gators.
go. All right. All right, we'll take a little break. We'll be right back. I'm going to Harlem for some pizza.
Me too.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios.
Fox News Radio, I'm Karen McHugh. Saying it should never have happened, General Motors CEO Mary Barra accepts full responsibility for an ignition defect in GM vehicles that resulted in several deaths.